The NASA
but
rescue
just
mission is about to launch. Let's
to
go.
get two degrees away from the vehicle.
Let's see if they f
And
this
then
up
coming
again.
up in less than 30 seconds at the T-3-minute mark, the first stage liquid oxygen or LOX load will complete. And we'll continue to check through a couple more fueling milestones.
Trump, they lied to your face. They're not building shit. Brother, you think he cares? He's lying.
Liquid oxygen
He
loading
himself is lying
on
to the
second
American
stage.
government, to
Now,
the media.
You see all of those white clouds on your screen. Those are clouds of vapor, and they're completely normal, and we'll see them continue to build up as we get closer to launch. This is because liquid oxygen is super chilled, so a little of it will boil off in the warmer Florida air.
Stage 1, LOX load complete.
Great call out there. Stage 1.
Count and on.
Putting liquid oxygen onto stage 2, and that'll wrap up here at the T-2-minute mark, just about 20 seconds from now. And once we finish propellant loading, that will mean that 1 million pounds of RP1 and liquid oxygen will be loaded onto Falcon 9 here, just under 10 seconds.
Stage 2, LOX load complete.
We just heard confirmation that the stage 2 liquid oxygen loading is now complete. We are under 2 minutes away from launch. Gas closeout has now isolating all of the feed lines for the different gas systems from the Falcon 9 rocket. And those gases will then get vented overboard through umbilicals and the strong back. And you just heard that call out that Dragon is an
Ground
audit
gas
aisle.
closeouts, expect loud venting.
Well, you can hear that venting now. Obviously, rockets are very loud, and the sound can impart pressure loads back on the rocket itself. The ton of water absorbs and prevents the sound from hitting the structure and reverberating back onto the rocket. And that call
He better not f this up. There's people in this one.
The flight computers understand before it takes over, making sure the transition to final countdown is smooth, and all the flight computers on board are in sync.
The last launch was a failure, but there was no people in it. Who's being rescued? It's technically, I wouldn't. It's not a rescue mission. It's an extraction.
And the final countdown, less than a minute to go. And
I don't think it's appropriate to call it a rescue mission.
Flying 260 statute miles over the west coast of
This
Australia.
is that one, right? They're doing the extraction of the Boeing spaceship, like the astronauts that have been in. Trump keeps saying it's a rescue mission. It's not a rescue mission. They're up in the ISS.
Here in front of Mission Control,
30 seconds.
waiting to watch Crew-10 take off today.
Elon said he's gonna board a manned SpaceX craft. Oh please! Oh my God! Oh my God! That would be so sick. Oh my God! Please do that, Elon. Please, 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 please get on a manned ship. Just by yourself, though. It's coming.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and NASA crew. Copy 1 Alpha.
Look at that penis.
Vehicle pitching down range.
No, I don't want it to crash. There's astronauts in it, Chad. Calm down. You don't want it to fail. There's like real humans in that thing.
Good call-outs on the first stage performance so far.
No girth, only length. Yeah.
We're now 40 seconds into
No, the astronauts have been stuck on the ISS for a while. Kind of is a rescue mission. It's not a rescue mission.
Continuing to get good performance call-outs.
They just didn't want to risk. They didn't want to risk Boeing doing the Boeing returning on the flight, specifically because it would have destroyed Boeing and the Biden administration at the time.
Vehicle supersonic.
But they're not like stuck up there. They're working.
Stage 1 throttle up.
We're now just over 1 minute and 10 seconds into today's flight, traveling at more than 1,400 miles per hour. And we just heard that call out for Juan Bravo, which means we're in the second and
By the
final
way,
abort mode
SpaceX,
for the
NASA
first
collaboratively
stage,
doing
continuing
this
to get
is
good
quite literally
performance.
just for
The
Elon.
crew already pulling over
Like that's a
2 Gs.
gimme for
Next
Elon.
up, we'll have a couple of events happening in rapid succession.
Is
First will be
actually
engine
that is
fill of the
actually
second stage
Trump
impact
just
engine
being
you
like,
just
yeah, I
heard.
love you,
Then we'll
Elon.
have
You can
MECO,
do
or
this.
main engine cutoff, where the 9 engines on the first stage will cut off ahead of the first and second stages. Will be separating from one another. Then the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to carry Crew-10 to
They've
orbit.
flown a Falcon
while
a
the
ton of
first
times.
stage
This is
begins
very,
its
very,
journey
very
back
unlikely to
Earth.
go wrong. It's the
Now we're
Starship stuff that they
just
have
2 minutes
they
into
keep having
today's
trouble
flight.
with.
The vehicle is traveling just under 4,000 miles per hour.
We're just about 20 seconds away from those events that Anna just mentioned.
Who else can
The
even
9
do
Merlin
it?
engines
Boeing
will
can
shut
do it.
down here in just about 10
Boeing
seconds.
is how they
for
got
Rico,
up there. They're
stage
Boeing astronauts.
separation, and SES-1.
China can obviously do it, but we're talking about American companies. America and China do not cooperate on space science, unfortunately, for the world. China can do tenfold of what America could
Incredible views
do.
there on your left-hand screen. On your left-hand screen, you can see a view from stage 1. And an extremely excited crowd here in Hawthorne. Awesome views of that boost back burn on the first stage, as well as the MVAC engine igniting on the second stage. Great views there. Now the booster is in its boost back burn. This is the first of 3 burns as it makes its way back down to Earth.
What
This
now,
will last
flat
about
earthers?
45 seconds.
What now?
And the crew.
What
10
now,
crew is
flat
still
earthers?
Onboard Dragon attached to Falcon
Where
9
is
second
your
stage, which you can
God
see there on the
now?
right-hand
Shit
screen.
don't look flat to me,
And we're
brother.
now at 3 minutes and 20 seconds
Is
into
this
today's
fake?
flight. The vehicle is traveling about 6,500 miles per hour. They are on their way to the space station.
They're
We did have
using
that
a
confirmation,
fisheye lens,
coming up
dumbass.
of the boost back shutdown, and then coming up in at the T+6
These
minute
glasses
mark.
keep falling off my face. I gotta go back to these ones.
Coming, and there we have our
God damn
first
it.
images of the crew inside the Dragon spacecraft as they
It's a
make their
disc,
way
brother.
into orbit. And the crew
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
continuing to get good call-outs.
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
Stage 2 it continues to be on power with in its firing until we get to that second stage engine
This is a
cutoff
Stanley
around the
Kubrick
9-minute
film, and
mark
you
of
know it. I
flight,
mean,
about
he's
5
he's
minutes
not dead. He's
of
alive.
flight to go before
Stanley
Dragon will
Kubrick
be
is
flying
alive,
free.
and he's still filming this. CGI, brother. CGI technology's gotten so much better.
Some cool views there on your left-hand screen. That's the first stage booster as it's making its way back down to Earth. This is a ground tracking camera getting these awesome views.
And on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see that lone Merlin vacuum engine of the second stage. We're
Is
continuing
this
to get good
DEI?
performance
The space?
on the second stage.
Space travel is the most DEI of all, dude.
Will dip right when we hit the separation
Every single
event.
one of Murat's co-workers is a brown man.
Dragon,
There's like
SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
a handful of white guys, okay?
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
We're now at 5 minutes into today's flight. With a liftoff at 7:03
NASA is
p.m.
incredibly
Pacific, 4:03
DEI.
7:03 p.m. Eastern, 4:03 p.m. Pacific. Continuing to get good call-outs as Stage 1 makes its way back to Earth, and Stage 2 continues to fire, propelling Dragon into orbit.
If you're just now joining us, the 4 members of Crew-10 launched from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And they're currently on board Dragon, still attached to Falcon 9 second stage, which you're seeing there on your right-hand screen.
They
On
launched
your
the rocket
left-hand
400
screen,
times.
the
Boeing
first
can't
stage
do it yet. There's a
vehicle
big problem with leaks
is
in the
making its
propulsion
way
system,
back
and
down
it will
to
need a
Earth. It already
redesign.
completed the first of 3 burns as the boost back
Next
burn.
Boeing launch
and
is in its late
the next event coming up
2026.
for that
China's
vehicle
capability, while
is
still
going to
good, is no match for SpaceX and their Falcon flight schedule law. Yeah, I mean, SpaceX is ripping them over and over again, for sure. What I was talking about is the Chinese space station or whatever they're building.
3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines to help slow the vehicle down as it makes its way back into the Earth's atmosphere.
So
6
to
minutes into
tell you
today's
that
flight
the
as Dragon and second
American
stage
government
continue
does not,
traveling
American
at
government
over
scientists do not
12,000
cooperate
miles
with
per
the
hour,
Chinese
making
space
their way
scientists.
into orbit and on the way to the International Space Station.
They're building a ghost space station. Yeah, it's empty,
There
brother.
we just saw on the screen, it was very quick, but we had the entry burn, which we got some cool views of that from the ground, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, the Chinese space station is a ghost space station. There's no one in it, actually.
First stage. That's coming up here.
Don't you mean aerospace engineers? Yes.
SpaceX,
Whatever.
nominal trajectory.
And great call outs for
SpaceX Dragon, copy nominal.
Confirmation there from the crew as they continue to make their way into orbit. Now 7 minutes into today's
Yeah,
flight.
they made it with
the
tofu
first stage
dregs.
making its way back down
The
to Earth,
Chinese
and the
space
second stage
station.
continuing to fire.
this is an awesome view. Let's see if we can see the center engine relight for that landing burn here in a few seconds.
Wait, does this get
There's
caught by
that
the
landing
chopsticks
burn.
too?
Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches down on landing zone.
That's sick. That's so fucking sick, dude. That is actually so cool. God, I hate Elon Musk so much, but this is so insanely dope. That is so sick. Yeah.
Is excited to see Falcon 9 touchdown on landing zone 1.
God, I fucking hate Elon. I wish he wasn't associated with this.
And now that the first stage has made its way back to Earth, we're about a minute away from the second engine cutoff, which we're expecting around the 9-minute mark of today's flight.
It's
We're
not like
continuing to get
Elon
good
did it,
callouts,
but it doesn't
and,
matter. You know what I
Dragon
mean?
and all
Like,
of the systems on the vehicle
he still
are
gets
performing as
benefits from it.
expected. Just over 8 minutes into today's flight, traveling more than 21,000 miles per hour.
Terminal guidance.
Hearing good call outs. We're about 30 seconds away from that second engine cutoff, and then shortly after that, about a minute or so later, we will have orbital insertion.
Luckily, it's all fake and made in Blender. Yeah, it's all CGI, brother.
Shannon.
And that call out there for Shannon, and that is the call out for Shannon, Ireland, which is the final abort.
Why do you
stage
call
for the
Elon a
second
con
stage
artist
off
who
the
was
coast
lucky to
of
make his way
Ireland.
to the top? Because he is.
Standing by for a second engine cutoff.
Yeah, this is also this shadow says, my sister is an aerospace engineer at SpaceX, and I assure you they hate Elon. I know. I also know, you know, I can confirm that as well.
Nominal orbit
Yes.
insertion.
Engineers talk to one another all the time, and they fucking hate Elon Musk. It's usually that they have invested far too much time into the company and have stock options, so they just kind of stay there. From what I understand, they have like good benefits package or good good options, so they just kind of stick through it. A lot of them also love what they do, which is why they stay there, but they fucking despise Elon Musk.
Shortly, in about 10-15 seconds is what we're expecting. And we're preparing for stabilizing the second
Why
stage
do they
so
say
that
they
we
hate
can
him?
have
Obviously,
a
there are many
smooth
reasons.
separation.
He is a horrible boss to work for.
And there,
This
you
is the
can see
most
on
consistent thing
left-hand
I've heard
side,
about Elon Musk.
the crowd is going wild. There on your screen, you can see that Dragon separation.
The fuck is that?
Second stage making its way, and Dragon is now flying free. 10 minutes into today's flight. That was about a minute after we had that second engine
Yeah,
cutoff.
he bankrolls it and pokes his head in. Typical Elon shit. There's a woman who's the real head of the company and actually runs the operations. Yeah, but when he pokes his head in, he's apparently incredibly fucking annoying, and he'll make like ridiculous demands, and will force people to work incredibly long hours and be like, no, you have to make this happen.
First images of Crew-10.
You know what I
inside
mean?
The Dragon Endurance spacecraft as they're now successfully in orbit.
Dragon, SpaceX Chief Engineer on Countdown 1. On behalf of the entire Falcon team, we thank you for flying with Falcon and wish you a great mission. Over to LD.
It was an honor flying with you this evening. We wish you well on your journey and give Crew-9 our best. Thank you for flying SpaceX.
SpaceX Dragon, this is Crew-10 Commander Ann McClain. Thank you to all of the teams from across the world who contributed to the launch today. Spaceflight is tough, but humans are tougher. Days like today are made possible only when people choose to do the harder right over the easier wrong. Build relationships, choose cooperation, and believe in the inherent goodness of all people across the world. To my family and friends, without you, I would not be here. Explore boldly, live gracefully, go Crew-10.
Whoa!
Now over to
Cut it
pilot
out!
Nicole Ayers.
Cut the feed! Oh my god, they did! Wait, what?
Nicole Ayers again. We're not the first humans to get to orbit, and we wouldn't be here without the bravery and hard work of those who have paved the way for human spaceflight. We now get the unique perspective of Earth without borders and get to revel in the connectedness of humanity. I would be remiss to not once again acknowledge those who helped me get here to this wonderful view. And
Wait,
this
what is
perspective,
Asmongold's chat
to the
saying? Are they saying
teachers,
DEI
the
astronaut? I need to see.
Fellow officers,
I need to see what
fellow
his chat is
teammates, Raptor
saying.
Nation, to my friends and family that encouraged my dreams from the start, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you.
They're just saying "Aya clap." They're saying "W Japan." That was their takeaway from this wonderful statement.
And SpaceX, especially the
You are a sick
Falcon 9
individual,
for the
Hasan.
successful launch, and we are looking forward to a smooth ride to the International Space Station. 日本の皆さん、たくさんの応援ありがとうございます。9年ぶりの無重力の感覚をかみしめてます。これから先の ISS への宇宙の旅、楽しんでいきたいと思います。I will now hand the mic over to Mission Specialist Kirill.
Thanks a lot to NASA and SpaceX for this wonderful ride, and I want to say a couple of words in Russian. Пользуясь такой чудесной возможностью, хочу поздравить с 65-летием со дня начала подготовки первого отряда. И также хочу сказать спасибо большое за те знания и жизненный опыт, который мной были получены в всех стенах для того, чтобы выполнить этот полет.
You have to remember, all of these dudes are fucking nerds. All these dudes and ladies are like incredibly well-read, incredibly educated, nerdy-ass fucking scientists. It does not matter what country they work for. It doesn't matter what stupid-ass boss like Elon Musk they work for. Like, of course, they're just like, yeah, we love this shit, and I'm so glad that we get to actually, you know, pioneer something. Like, we get to push the boundaries of. They can still be hogs. Yeah. I think that the overwhelming majority are not hogs, especially at that level. They can. There are famous examples, but there's a reason why there are famous examples, because they're not the norm at all. Spacetism is universal. It's just like, yeah, in order to be able to get to that situation, like you have done a lot of reading. You've read a lot of books. Anyway, Mark Kelly didn't come down to be a Republican. I mean, Mark Kelly is actually a hog. So I would say Mark Kelly is not a great example. Anyway, it is harder to be a hog with a PhD. Not impossible, but harder for sure. And there are still dudes who are hogs with a PhD.
And such great words from Crew-10 as well as the Corps here in Hawthorne and Mission Control. We also got confirmation that the nose cone deploy is underway. The 6 hooks that hold the nose cone in place during launch portions have to retract, and then the nose cone will be able to start to swing open and deploy. Now, this uncovers a number of critical systems for the flight up to the space station.
It doesn't represent the majority opinion. They're all saying W space.
And the docking hatch.
Classic, though. That's a classic bit that conspiracy theorists believe.
In case there were going to be any comms.
I often use that as an example that, like, even innocuous conspiracy theories like flat earthers inevitably always arrive at Jews being responsible for it somehow. I use that basically as an example of how every conspiracy theory, no matter how small or how vast, inevitably turns into the Jews did this.
We're just waiting for confirmation that the nose cone has fully deployed with all of the hooks open. But just to recap a little bit, we did have a successful liftoff of Crew-10 about 18 minutes ago at 7:03 p.m. Eastern, 4:03 p.m. Pacific. And following an approximately 9-minute ride after liftoff, we had that orbital insertion, and Dragon and Crew-10 were flying free and well on their way to the International Space Station. They now have an approximately 28-hour journey before they do reach their destination
the Jews.
at the space station.
Well,
and that docking is targeted for tomorrow, March 15th. For the
space program, it was a little bit of a collaborative project, I would say. Yes, plenty of Jews were responsible for it, but, you know, there were also some fucking Nazis as well that you know, played a big role in the initial technology, you know? A little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know? It's just, yeah, there were some German Jews, for sure, and then there were some Germans who were definitely not Jewish and definitely not too fond of the Jews, you know? I guess Elon Musk is kind of continuing that tradition of being a fucking Nazi, engaging in like space travel. So there's that.
Science and research and learnings that help make life both on Earth and in space better. And flights like today's help us continue to lay this foundation for our future among the stars and continue our mission to make life multiplanetary.
Once Crew-10 does arrive to the International Space Station, they will, of course, partake in some additional science and research. They will have over 200 experiments that they will contribute to during their time aboard the International Space Station. Again, we're just standing by for confirmation that that nose cone has fully deployed. And we may also get some additional look inside the cabin of the crew.
As we patiently wait for those views, we are trying to see if we can get some views. We were seeing some views from the second stage. This looks like it might be a view from the forward.
Dragon SpaceX, nominal nose cone opening and forward bulkhead Draco checkouts.
SpaceX Dragon copies and confirm nominal E-course activation and go for visors.
What a dumb reason to go to space. It would cost infinitely less money to fix all the problems on Earth than it would to make another planet habitable. I disagree with that take. I think it's a.
Again, we're seeing some views inside.
I think it's a wrong take.
Spacecraft with Crew-10.
One, space travel is fucking awesome. Okay. 2, space travel inevitably creates new technology that you use down here that is like readily available, accessible, makes your lives easier, like the fucking microwave. So I don't, and also 3, we can do both. It's not one or the other. Like,
And from left to right
so
on
glad
your
you're not
screen,
anti-space.
there
My
is
brother
cross
is a
buttons,
literal
but not grill pest
rocket
stop.
scientist,
NASA
chatters.
astronaut
What the
Will
fuck?
Ayers
Of course
has
I'm not
astronaut in the
anti-space.
plane, and then far on the right-hand side of your screen is JAXA astronaut.
That'd be real funny if I was like, I fucking hate the science pro. I hate aerospace and mechanical engineers. I hate them. I hate them so much.
As, their tablets are floating around there. They do have them attached to a little string that helps allow them so that, you know, as they're strapped into their seats, they don't.
Also, I
lose
love
their
Cowboy Bebop.
We're now just over 20 minutes into today's flight following that successful liftoff at 7:03 p.m. Eastern, 4:03 p.m. Pacific. There you're getting an over-the-shoulder view between the commander and
Yeah, I
pilots.
have a very specific smoke for aerospace engineers who turn my garage into a welding shop, but that's it. That doesn't extend to. Yeah, well, you're anti-nuclear, right? Many associate that with anti-progress. I'm not anti-nuclear as much as I am nuclear skeptic or scared of nuclear
If you're just
power.
now joining us, you are watching live Crew-10 out in space in the Dragon vehicle. They lifted off from Space Launch Complex 39A at 7:03 p.m. Eastern Time.
But even then, at this point, I don't give a fuck, to be honest.
3 minutes
Fuck
remaining in
it.
the current ground station pass.
Fuck it. Let it melt down type shit, if you know what I mean. I don't even.
So we can see all 4 crew members right now.
I don't even care anymore. So I'm no longer anti-nukes.
Copy. Thank you, SpaceX. We'd like to introduce the Crew-10 G indicator. Taki is holding him up. This is a hand crochet origami crane. The Japanese origami, hand crocheted in the United States, and his name is Drug, which is the Russian name for friend. Origami is the Japanese art of folding paper. This is a nod to the unique and deep cultural traditions from which each of us come. While we're from different parts of the world, we are brought together in this bold endeavor, and we represent all of humanity. The folded paper design was also chosen to represent paper airplanes that we made when we were kids, before we were astronauts, when all we had was a dream. And we looked up at the sky and we wondered, what if? It's a symbol that every big accomplishment starts with a quiet dream, and that dreams do come true when you believe in yourself and you listen only to those who believe in you. Crew-10 believes in all of the dreamers. The flag and the number markings on the crane, there's a number 10 on each of its wings and a flag from each one of our countries on the tail. This is a nod to each of our shared experiences as professional pilots. These patches are arranged to look like an airplane. This is a source of deep pride for our crew, because what pilot doesn't like to talk about the fact that they're a pilot? But this also symbolizes our shared.
If you had the
culture
aux
of
cable on
astronauts.
Dragon, what song are you putting
In years of
on?
training together, we found
I'm
we have
putting
far
on the
more
new
in
Cardi
common than we
album.
do different. Our zero-G indicator was handmade by a small business owner in the United States. This represents all the hands.
You ignore what's happening in Syria just like mainstream media. Syrians are probably not as important as Palestinians. Too bad. I thought you were better.
It represents all of the artists and musicians who inspire people to imagine beyond what they can see. Spaceflight is perhaps the most complex endeavor of our time, but it was built one step at a time.
I don't think Syrians are less important than Palestinians.
Finally, the origami crane is the international symbol for peace, hope, and healing. Crew-10 hopes to serve as a beacon of hope, a reminder of what humans can accomplish when we see the goodness in one another.
Cardi is NPC music. Shut up.
Toward a common goal. Today, we are united not through common enemy, but through shared optimism and a basic belief in the goodness of humanity. It is far easier to be enemies than it is to be friends. It's easier to break partnerships and relationships than it is to build them. Spaceflight
Call out Elon. You won't.
Success depends on leaders of character who choose the harder right over the easier wrong, and who build programs.
Be like, Elon is not a good character of decent moral fabric. Decent moral fiber.
If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then go together. Crew-10 chooses to go together in peace, because you cannot be great without the greatness of others. Go NASA, go Roscosmos, go JAXA, and go Crew-10.
Wait, the Japanese, that's crazy. The Japanese NASA is called JAPSA? That's crazy. Oh, JAXA. I was like, that's a wild name.
Really Thanks for introducing.
Oh, Jesus. It sounds like a slur.
From NASA astronaut and the Crew-10 commander, Anne McClain. And again,
no
Crew-10
mention of X. Why the fuck was she mentioned?
NASA astronaut Nicole Ayers and JAXA astronaut Takuya Onishi.
Why would she mention X? They'd be like, thank you to Twitter for making the world in the exact opposite vision. In the exact opposite vision of the world that I have envisioned here. Borders, no boundaries, and everyone is side by side singing Kumbaya. Thank you to Twitter and thank you to Grok for ruining that vision of a tomorrow. Because
Harmony module. Between now and then, Dragon will perform a series of
SpaceX? Oh, you mean SpaceX?
And that first burn will be taking place around 4:52 p.m. Pacific, 7:52 p.m. Eastern today.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And those were some great words about the zero-G indicator.
She didn't say SpaceX.
Very incredible. Human spaceflight has come so far in the last 5 years with Dragon. In addition to flying people, SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft also enables researchers the opportunity to fly critical science to orbit. Now, so far, SpaceX and Dragon have carried over 1,000 research experiments to and from low Earth orbit, both to the International Space Station and on our free fly missions. From DNA sequencing to 3D printing.
ADL defense must Nazi salute asking for grace and then benefit of the doubt. Not disturbed that Musk says Hitler did not kill Jews. What can you do, you know?
Critical research and learnings that help
guys, he's pro-Israel. It's fine. He's pro-Israel.
Space better. And flights like today's help us continue to lay the foundation for our future among the stars and continue our mission to make life multiplanetary. Now, we'll be signing off from SpaceX for now, so we're going to send it back to NASA. But before we go, we want to thank NASA for entrusting us with today's mission, and thank you all for being here with us today.
And with that, we're going to end our coverage from Hawthorne until we pick back up with our docking coverage in about 26 hours at 6:45 p.m. Pacific, 9:45 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Holy fuck, it's going to take 29 hours for them to get up there and dock? God damn, how fucking far is the space station, dude? Hey, yo!
And welcome back to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where we just watched Crew-10 lift off from Launch Pad 39A. The crew
Space
is now...
big idiot. Damn, dude. How far away is it? No, it's not that far. It just takes a long time to align the orbit. Oh, that's what the problem is. It's 29 hours away, clearly. No, I think they just kind of go up there and float, and then they sync it up, right, with the trajectory. Isn't that how it goes? I actually don't know, but that's how it works, right? That's the reason why it probably takes so long, because it's not like making maneuvers. It's not like going full tilt with the boosters or some kind of like boosting capability that like takes it all the way to the ISS. I feel like if that was the case, well, one, it would burn a shit ton more. It would probably be a lot heavier to also fly it all the way out there. Just build another lane, it goes faster. Yeah, everything is spinning and in constant motion. Yes, I know. I'm just thinking of like how it is in movies. That's why. And I suspect that other people also assume, even if they know better, and I know better, and I still make that assumption sometimes because of how much I've watched movies and anime and shit. But yeah, you just like, in your mind, it's normal to think that like, oh, it's just like flying up there the entire time and not just like kind of floating in orbit as it like links up. You don't understand because you have zero motion. Oh yeah. The man who US deported who then helped China into space. Yeah, this is going to happen again. Better to think of it as they are performing an orbital. You know what? Just don't think about it either. You play Kerbal Space Program, or you do rocket science as a hobby, or you Sojak and no thoughts about it. Jock. Did you just use jock as a pejorative? What the fuck's going on in this chat? Goddamn nerds. Oh.